Hello and welcome to Amit's Tech Sessions. My name is Amit and I'm a software architect. In this session, I'm going to do a hands-on demo of an event-driven pattern on AWS. As you can see in the diagram, there's a publisher which publishes a message to SNS topic, and then the message is routed to a number of SQS queues, and then each SQS queue has a subscription to a Lambda function which does the processing of that message. So this is a general pattern which is used in AWS Cloud for event-driven communication or for fan-out processing, etc. For this hands-on demo, we are only going to create one SQS queue and one Lambda function, and then on top of that, one SNS topic. So this is the block which we are going to try out hands-on, and also we're going to test that integration among all these components. So let's now jump on to AWS console. So we will start with Lambda. We'll open the Lambda in the new tab. So let's create a function in Lambda, and we are going to use a blueprint. We are not going to create a Lambda function with our own code. So we'll use a blueprint. So there's a default blueprint selected called Hello World function within Node.js. So we'll just use that. I'll name that as a test function. Runtime is selected by default Node.js 18.x. Architecture is x86-64. We'll create a new role for this Lambda with the basic Lambda permissions. And this is the Lambda function code. So let's now create a function. Creating the function might take a few seconds. Now the function has been successfully created. So this is the code which we picked up from the blueprint. And this code is just printing the event, and if it's a JSON event, it is printing the key and value from that JSON event. So we are going to remove all this. We're just going to print the JSON event as it is, which comes in from the SQS queue or from the SNS topic. Let's deploy. So Lambda function has been created. Now we'll create a SQS queue. We'll go to SQS queue. Let's create a queue. So we'll create a standard queue for this demo. Test queue. There are various parameters such as visibility timeout, delivery delay, receive message wait time, message retention period, maximum message size. We'll leave them as default for this demo. Encryption is by default enabled using an Amazon SQS encryption key. So we'll leave that as well. We'll choose the basic access policy for this demo. Basic access policy means that the owner of this SQS queue, which is this AWS account, can send and receive messages to and from the queue. We'll leave everything as default and we'll create a queue. So once this queue is created, you can see there's an option to create Lambda triggers. So we can go to Lambda triggers and we can configure a Lambda function trigger to this queue, which means whenever a message arrives in the queue, it will be consumed by Lambda. We can choose the function which we created earlier here, and we can save this. So as you can see, this doesn't allow us to set the trigger from this queue for our specific Lambda. And as you see the error message, the provided execution rule does not have the permission to call receive message on SQS. So what we need to do is to add these permissions onto the Lambda execution role. So now let's go back to Lambda. Go to configuration. Within configuration, go to permissions, and there's a role name. So we'll open this role in IAM console. And there is no policy attached for SQS receive message on this role. So we are going to add a policy for SQS receive. So there are two options. You can either create your inline policy or you can attach the policy from AWS managed policies. So for this demo, we are going to find AWS managed policy and we'll attach that. So let's search from the list with SQS. So there are 3: full access, read-only access, and Lambda SQS queue execution role. So let's expand this Lambda SQS queue execution role. So this has a permission to receive the message from SQS. So we'll use this policy and attach that to the Lambda execution role. Although please note that this has a resource wildcard. That means it can receive message from any of the SQS queue in your account. But this is generally not a best practice. You should always limit your resources to a specific SQS queue. So the policy has been attached to this role now, as we can see. And now if we go back to the SQS queue, and if we set the trigger again, let's save it. Now it has allowed us to save that Lambda function trigger within that SQS queue. And this trigger is now creating, which may take less than a minute. So we'll refresh it and see the change of status. So now this has been enabled. So let's test this integration out, and we can use this button on this SQS queue called send and receive messages. So I can send a message, test message from SQS to Lambda. And let's send this message. So your message has been sent and is ready to be received. Now, how can we validate this? We can validate that in Lambda logs. So we can go to monitor section in the Lambda, and there's a button called view CloudWatch logs. So you can go to CloudWatch logs and see, have there been any logs created as part of this Lambda? It's loading the CloudWatch logs. And there's a log stream which has been generated just now. Let's open that log stream. We can see there was a log in our Lambda function code called received event. So it has received the event from SQS queue, and the body which we sent from SQS queue does have that message, test message from SQS to Lambda. So this SQS to Lambda integration we have tested, and now let's take it a step further and let's create an SNS topic. So we are into SNS, or simple notification service, and let's name it as test topic. We'll create a standard topic. We'll leave everything as default selected for this demo, and we're creating a topic. So topic has been created. Now, if you go back to the SQS queue, and if we go to the queue again, so we did add a Lambda trigger earlier, but there is also an option to create an SNS subscription. So here you can subscribe to the Amazon SNS topic. So let's click that and choose our SNS topic and save that subscription. Subscription has been enabled now, and we have a subscription from SNS topic. we do have a Lambda trigger. And to test this end-to-end, we will go to the topic and we'll publish a message from topic. So we will publish a message called test message from SNS to SQS to Lambda. And let's publish this message. Message has been published to topic successfully. So now this Lambda should be able to process this message within itself. Now let's go to the logs again for that Lambda. And let's see if there has been any new log stream generated, or is it a part of the same log stream. So it has been a part of the same log stream. And let's see the latest message here. The received event here, received event, and we received the events from SNS topic, and body does have a SNS type of structure where it says type is notification, provides a message ID, the topic ARN, and then a message which we published. So you can see this message, test message from SQS, test message from SNS to SQS to Lambda. So now we have made sure that the integration from SNS to SQS to Lambda is working. Now if I go back to the diagram, so we have achieved this integration, we have achieved this hands-on demo, and that's all for this video. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you very much.